Big thanks to Quincy and the whole research team for all the great work they do.
Yes.
Welcome back, everyone, to Canada News Summaries, Episode 5. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jane.
And Jane and I are going to be talking about some big vehicle recalls in Canada.
Yes, we are.
But before we get into that, quick reminder to follow, like, and share the podcast if you're enjoying these Canadian news bites.
We always appreciate that.
All right, so getting right into it, the big story today is all about vehicle recalls.
Yeah.
We've got three pretty big ones that are impacting Canadians.
Yeah, it's Ford, Acura, and Land Rover.
And some of these issues are more serious than you might think at first glance.
Yeah, for sure. These aren't just like, a loose door handle or a squeaky window or something like that.
Yeah.
These recalls are addressing some pretty significant safety concerns that could have some pretty bad consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the one that's causing the biggest stir online, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And that's the Ford recall. And it all comes down to a mapping engine plug.
Yes, that's right. Now, you might think that sounds like a small thing.
Right.
But it's really not, because that little plug, it plays a really big role in keeping the engine oil where it needs to be.
Oh, for sure.
And we're talking about some pretty popular models here, like the F-150, the Expedition,
Right.
and even the Lincoln Navigator.
Wow.
Ford is estimating about 340 vehicles in Canada are affected.
So not a huge number.
No, not a huge number, but
still.
still, even one is too many when you're talking about something like this.
Right.
Because that missing plug could lead to a pretty significant oil leak.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. Imagine like you're driving down the 401
Yeah.
and suddenly your engine just like gives out on you.
Yeah, it's not good.
Scary thought.
Yeah. And, potentially could even lead to a fire.
Right.
So, pretty serious.
Definitely something to watch out for. Well, hopefully Ford can reach all the owners pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so.
What about Acura? What's going on with their recall?
Okay, so the Acura recall is, it centers around the TLX model.
Okay.
And this one is focused on the fuel filler neck.
Hmm.
Basically, there's concern that the fuel filler neck might not be properly welded to the fuel tank.
So we're talking about potential fuel leaks.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, not good at all. Fuel leaks, obvious fire hazard.
Right.
And this recall applies to TLX models from 2021, 2022, and 2023.
So a pretty recent issue.
Yeah, fairly new models, so potentially a lot of vehicles on the road could be impacted.
It makes you wonder how something like that slips through
Oh, absolutely.
quality control.
Yeah, big questions about manufacturing and testing procedures for sure.
Yeah, that's a little concerning.
Mm-hmm. And, they're notifying owners, but they haven't really given a specific fix yet, which makes it seem like they're still trying to figure out exactly how they want to tackle the problem.
Interesting. Okay, so speaking of figuring things out, let's move on to Land Rover.
Okay.
This one's a bit of a head scratcher for me.
Yeah.
A potential water leak impacting the rear view camera on the Range Rover.
Yeah, I know. You read that, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, how does a water leak impact a camera?
Right.
Like what's the connection there?
So from what I understand, it seems like water can actually seep into the camera housing itself.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that can obscure the lens, make it foggy,
Great.
or even completely block the view.
Oh, wow.
And you can imagine for a big SUV like a Range Rover,
Yeah.
not being able to see out your rear view camera, that's a pretty big hazard.
Yeah, I'd say, especially when you consider like those blind spots.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like reversing in a parking lot or even backing out of your driveway.
Exactly. You're basically driving blind.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's, 616 SUVs in Canada. That's not an insignificant number.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
it's a real concern. Yeah, and they're notifying owners, but again, like with Acura, the fix is still under development.
So they're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, still trying to figure out the best way to solve it.
How to fix it. Yeah. It makes you wonder about the design and the placement of that camera system.
Yeah, for sure. Like, is it too vulnerable to water?
Right.
Maybe they need to rethink the location or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so 3 very distinct recalls.
Yeah.
Each with their own concerns.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ford dealing with that engine plug, Acura working through that fuel filler neck,
Right.
and Land Rover's got that rear view camera leak.
Uh-huh. It's a good reminder, I think, for everyone, no matter what you drive,
Yeah.
to stay on top of these recalls.
Oh, absolutely.
Check the manufacturer's website.
Check the Transport Canada website, especially if you own one of those.
Yeah, a Ford, Acura, or Land Rover.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for today's Canada News Summaries.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll catch you next time.
We'll catch you next time for more news from across Canada.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Ah.